Shalom Yasharallah, peace Israel, all praise to our power, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, double honor to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, peace and blessing to the elect of Israel, Shalom. YouTube users question sanity, reality as service goes dark worldwide. And this happened yesterday. Actually, this happened about 15 hours ago. Okay, but yesterday, and this shows you that it's only a matter of time before Esau pulls the plug on YouTube and the internet as a whole. And when this happened yesterday, with the YouTube service going down, you had a lot of people bugging out, a lot of people going crazy. All right, where YouTube at? Where YouTube at? You know, and for certain brothers in the truth, brothers couldn't put up videos. But see, we know and understand that this was only available for a certain period of time. Us doing these shows, putting out these videos, because YouTube was really created for the men of the Lord to push the truth on. It was used as a vehicle or a platform to promote the truth or to protest the truth, to teach the truth on. Okay? So when the Lord has sealed his elect, this service is no longer needed. But people were bugging out. And you have a lot of people bugging out as a whole, man. So this society is going down. It will collapse very soon. And everything that you can possibly imagine is about to get ready to happen. Whether it's an EMP, whether it's a false flag or false flags via this government. But basically, different pocket nukes set up to explode in certain major cities. Whatever you could possibly imagine. We know the economy is going to crash, but all hell is about to get ready to break loose. So this was a preparation for brothers in this truth to get ready, because very soon we're not going to be teaching anymore. We're just going to be working out our own salvation with fear and trembling. But let me read a little bit of this article, and then I'm going to get some scriptures. And this is on RT.com, which is Russia Today. YouTube users question sanity, reality as service goes dark worldwide. Right, so you like, man, damn, this page ain't coming up. Damn, I can't access my channel. Damn. All right, I can't put a video up. All right, so that was happening worldwide. Okay. And that's how the screen was looking on YouTube. YouTube has suffered a massive outage, with users from all across the globe rushing to alternative social media platforms to vent their frustration and seek psychological support from fellow victims of hashtag YouTube down disaster. So like I said, a lot of people were bugging out, because the way that a lot of people vent and release their frustration is by way of putting up YouTube videos. Okay, and not just brothers in the truth, because we mainly push the truth. We mainly teach the word on YouTube. But you have just the average Joe Blow out there. Hey, he has to release his frustration, and he has to vent by doing videos on whatever it is. But people couldn't do that yesterday. They couldn't do it, so they were bugging out. The video sharing website experienced a service disruption across the northeastern United States, as well as parts of the west and east coast. Users in Australia, Mexico, Brazil, and the EU have also been affected, according to thousands of reports on the Down Detector monitoring site. YouTube videos began returning errors around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The site infrastructure was still loading for users, but the videos themselves did not play and were replaced by error messages imploring users to please try again later. Right. You got this guy here, Nintendo Diddy, a stamp for Nintendo. So Nintendo Diddy what the fuck is happening with YouTube right now? So people were bugging out. Man, you can only imagine how crazy people would be without this technology. All right? Without YouTube, without Facebook, without social media, period. All right? Instagram, Snapchat, without the internet, period. Without being able to look up things. All right? Because you have access to all this information, you know, at the click of a button. All right, but also just dealing with entertainment. For entertainment purposes, the internet goes away. Your TV goes away. All right, cable goes away. Will you be able to function? Most people will not be able to function. Most people, they are desensitized to the natural world. They're not used to the natural world, going outside anymore. All right. Actually going out and talking to people that way. People talk to people mostly by way of the internet. All right, Facebook. Hell, YouTube, dealing with YouTube. As a matter of fact, dealing with us here at Great Millstone, beginning with our apostles and elders, they woke up a lot of brothers across the globe just by YouTube, just by using YouTube. Now it says, the company soon acknowledged it had received many reports of access issues about YouTube, YouTube TV, and YouTube Music. We're working on resolving this and will let you know once fixed. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and will keep you updated, it said in a tweet. But yeah, and that's really the point. Yeah, the end is near. That's right. Got the Homer Simpson picture right there. Yeah, the end is near. Actually, it's here. It's only a matter of time. But let me get some scriptures really quick. And it's just a quick video. It wasn't going to be long. But just proving the point, man. Hey, dealing with you different Israelites out there, you're going to be messed up because you didn't seek the Lord early. And it's going to be too late for most of you. It's going to be too late. Amos chapter 8 verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, that I will send a famine in the land. All right, and that land is dealing with America. All right. But really, hey, you think about all over the earth too. All over the earth, you will not be able to get this word. You won't be able to get it. And it says, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh, which it is going to be a famine of bread and a famine of water. Okay, thirst of water, a thirst for water. It's going to be all that, but the Lord is making the point that you mainly need the word of the Lord to survive. Because if you don't have the word of the Lord, you're not going to know how to maneuver during the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, you're not going to know what to do. You don't have a stronghold. You don't have a foundation. You don't have an answer. You don't have a solution for everything that's going on, but we do. We have this word. We have the testimony of Yahushua. And this thing is big, man. This is a very big deal. Okay? They shall wander, verse 12, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. So this is a reality check. It's about to get real, man. It's going to get real. So what will you do in those days? You know what you're going to do? You're going to die for lack of knowledge. Okay? Most of you, dealing with you Israelites out there. So you're not going to find it. In that day shall the fair virgins, meaning young women, young beautiful women, and young men faint for thirst. Right, so you're going to die because you don't have the answers. And people are going to be looking for answers, man. When now hell is breaking loose, when there's martial law implemented, okay? You see all these different military troops walking up and down your street. Curfews are set. There are going to be checkpoints. You won't be able to go to the next town, the next city. Hey, man, you name it, man. Especially going to be answers demanded when that chip is implemented. When it's mandatory, people are going to want answers. And guess what? IUIC don't have the answers. Beginning with Bishop Nathaniel, he doesn't have the answers. ISUPK don't have the answers, beginning with their leader, General Gehenna. You call him Johanna, but that dude gonna be on fire, man. All right, he don't have the answers, and the list goes on and on. Rakav GOCC don't got the answers, and I'm naming different Israelite groups because these are men that have sold out, and they should have led Israel the right way, but they're wolves in sheep's clothing. All right, none of them have the answers. But even dealing with these different mega churches, okay, amongst Jake, you have had this guy TD Fakes. TD Fakes don't got the answer. Creep Show Dollar Bill, Creflo Dollar, he don't got the answers, man, etc. Okay, you name it, man. Only Great Millstone has the answers. So, and you're gonna see that plantation Christianity is played out, and the Lord ain't dealing with that. Okay, but you know, that's the point on all this, man. I'm gonna get Proverbs, the 1st chapter, and these are just basic scriptures, but we need to keep things basic anyway. Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 20. Wisdom crieth without, so wisdom cries outside. She uttereth her voice in the streets by way of men, so the men of the Lord are out there on the streets teaching his word. Okay, crying out wisdom. She cried in the chief place of concourse, mainly in your downtown metropolitan area, okay, while the business is done. In the openings of the gates in the city she uttered her words, saying, how long ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in the scorning, and fools hate knowledge? So we're doing it. Asking Jake, how long y'all gonna be simple? It's time to wake up. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, and I will make known my words unto you, those of you that are of the elect. Because I have called and ye have refused. Let me read that again. Because I have called and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. You didn't want to listen. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. You don't want to hear it. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. And that's getting ready to happen. Fear is going to come upon you Israelites, man. Because you don't have the fear of the Lord, which is what the Bible is all about. Okay? Jake want to do their own thing. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me. You can call upon the Lord, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, when all hell break loose, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. Yeah, so that's it, man. Oh, let me read verse 30 and 31. They would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof, all the correction. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. Meaning what? You're going to die in martial law. You're going to die in a concentration camp. You're going to take the mark of the beast. You're going to die in the race wars. You're going to die of famine. You're going to get shot down in the street. Whatever the case scenario may be, all right? You're going to get robbed. Your sons and your daughters going to get kidnapped, all right? Probably eaten in front of you, or raped in front of you. Hey, you name it. All hell is about to break loose, man. And it can't be stressed enough. That's why this word is going out constantly. And even though there was a trial run, because, hey, man, the elite do different things to get a reaction out of people. They see how the public is going to react to this. And they got their reaction. The reaction that they wanted. You people are going to bug out, man. Especially you Jakes, because y'all don't know what the hell going on, man. All right? All you care about is bread and circuses. All right? Food and entertainment. Hey, but it is what it is, man. So be entertained. But the men of the Lord are going to be outside the box, man. And when that time comes, don't look for us. We're going to be working out our own salvation. All right? But with that, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to our apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace and bless to the elect. Shalom.
Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua. All praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father's true name in the ancient Hebrew, and Yahushua is the name of his only begotten Son. the Savior of the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And peace and grace be multiplied unto the house of David, which is the elect, the men, women, and children that are predestined to receive salvation and to be the first fruits of the kingdom of heaven, which is the kingdom of Israel. All right, Lord willing, this epistle is edifying, uplifting unto the elect, all right, who we endure all things for through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Achak Wadash, which is the Holy Spirit. All right. Yesterday, as brothers know, okay, last night, YouTube, it went down for a certain amount of time. All right. And, over here in the Northeast was like the main part of I guess like a major outage happened in the Northeast, but it was worldwide. All right, it was worldwide, and I was just meditating on it, man. How this was like like last month or earlier this month, we had that presidential alert testing. Well, this was the presidential alert, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai alert testing, man. Okay, because we know according to the prophecy that Amos 8:11, that there's going to be a famine of the word, man. Okay, and right now people are comfortable. Okay, people are at ease. They can everything is going according to their status quo. All right, according to their everyday goings. So when something like that happens, it throws people for a loop. Okay, but you see, the majority of people wasn't even thinking about the truth, man. They wasn't thinking about, okay, I won't be able to see the videos of the man of the Lord prophesying the word of the Lord. They wasn't thinking about that. Why? Because with this YouTube going down, nothing really else followed. All right, there was no catastrophe. There was no type of danger. All right, it was just interruption or a inconvenience, for people for entertainment purposes for a little while. But even with that, people were still going as Russia Today did a article, and they said like, people was questioning their sanity, and things like that. And this was just off of them not able to watch their music videos or watch their little whatever YouTube shows, whatever, man. Okay, but you see, as the scripture says, as Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai says, in their affliction they shall seek me early. Right? So that's why we know that when the actual famine of the word hits, which just was once again just like a prelude, was like a testing. All right, men seeing men being on their watchtower, men paying attention. All right, that's supposed to be in His truth, as the scripture says. The Lord has set us up as watchmen that should never hold their peace, day nor night. So that's our job. Is to watch out for these things and to warn the sheep. Okay. Warn the sheep to make sure that your lamps are trimmed, man. Matthew the 25th chapter. Because, hey, the bridegroom is coming, man. All right, the bridegroom is coming, which signifies Yahushai. Yahushai. And if you're not prepared, if you're not, your lamps aren't trimmed, if you don't have that oil, you're not going to be able to, enter in. You're not going to be able to withstand this evil day, man. You're not going to be able to stand the hour of temptation, Jacob's trouble, if you don't have the oil, which represents just wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right? So the masses of these people, man, they're zombified. They're zombified to the point where something like this happening, they're just so gone that they're looking at it as like, oh, I can't watch my music videos. What's going on? I've seen people on Facebook and Twitter talking about the inconvenience of YouTube going down, but they weren't talking about the prophecies. They weren't talking about hearing the words of the Lord. That's not going to happen until destruction follows with something like this, man. Okay, where questions aren't being answered, and they're seeking for answers, and they can't find any. Okay, that's when it's gonna hit these people, man. That's when these people are really gonna start, you know, losing their wits, man, losing their comfortability, losing their you know, their level of certainty, right? Once again, as the scriptures, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua said that what, in their affliction they shall seek me early, right? Proverbs, the 1st chapter, because wisdom is crying out right now, man. Even in the midst of YouTube going down, brothers were still in the spirit of doing lessons on YouTube going down, man. Just so that when it comes back up, boom, the Lord had it put into brother spirits, the Holy Spirit, you know, was working on brothers to do videos about warning of the times that are coming, man. All right, warning of, look, man, this YouTube going down is actually going to be a thing. It ain't going to be no interruption in service. It's going to be you no longer can access YouTube. All YouTube videos are unavailable. Okay, the actual site of YouTube is going to be unavailable. The site of Instagram, the site of Facebook. All right, you're not going to be able to find the words of the Lord, man. Okay, and then when that happens, and then the affliction starts, the calamities as a whirlwind, the desolation. Okay, when your fear cometh upon you as a whirlwind, that's when people are going to start to seek answers, man. As it tells you in 2nd Esdras, I believe it's the 5th chapter. It says what? That they shall go to and fro across land and sea, asking, is there knowledge that wisdom that maketh a man to understand, you know, non-verbatim? Does it go throughout you? And they gonna say no. Meaning what? Nobody's gonna have answers, man. Nobody's gonna know what to do or where to go. Things are gonna be happening, and you just had like a purple, you know, it was a purple, dark purple sky over there. I want to say it was somewhere in the Midwest, right? Right when Michael went through that area, the sky was completely just purple, man. All right, things like that is going to happen. And you know, these scientists try to come and use this their science falsely so-called to try to explain this phenomenon. All right, but there's going to be supernatural events that's going to happen. Okay. Supernatural events, okay, apparitions, spookism that's going to be going on throughout Babylon, throughout this world, and there's not going to be no logical explanation, man. Well, see, we have the logic because the logic is spiritual, but the Lord is going to what? He's going to accompany that with the famine of the word, and that's when people are going to actually start bugging out, man. That's when people are going to start this diligently trying to find answers, man. That's when they're going to seek the Lord, and that's when he's not going to be found, man. He's going to return to his place. He's going to shut up the tongues of his prophets, because during that time, at that time, what? The word has reached all of the ears, man. The words have reached the 144, as it tells you in Revelation, the 7th chapter. Hurt not the earth nor the sea until the number of the children of Israel be sealed, man. The 12,000 from each tribe. So that's why we are out here constantly teaching, because that's what we're seeking for, man. We're longing for that number to be realized, man. Okay, we're longing for that number to be manifest, and once that happens, then our job as prophets are done, man. And the Lord going to start doing what? He going to start to work, man. So Psalms 119 and 126. Well, really, the Lord is already working. All right, He's already working. He's given the warning through His prophets, but it's going to get turned up, man. It's going to get turned up to the point where everywhere you go, it's just not going to be nothing but uncertainty, man. It's not going to be nothing but questions being asked. All right, seek answers diligently seeked, and it's going to be everybody's going to be seeking for the same answers, man. They're all going to be seeking for the same. What's going on? How do we get refuge from this? Well, the scripture tells you that the name of the Lord is a strong tower, man. It also tells you in Psalms the 9th chapter that the name of the Lord is refuge, man. And they that know it shall run to it, man. All right, we're uplifting, we're promoting the name of Yahweh in the name of His Son Yahweh Shai right now, okay, and pushing it out through the four corners of the earth by way of the internet. But that time is going to come where refuge is going to be sought for, man. And the only refuge that's going to be, the only refuge that is going to be to withstand this hell is the refuge in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And as it tells you in the Romans, the 10th chapter, how shall they call upon Him if there have been no preacher? People are still going to try to, during that time, these wicked ass niggas that's been playing around, that's been, you know, just in that state of folly, state of just games and thinking everything is a joke. Them same niggas, when this hell breaks, when the Lord brings this wrath, okay, when He brings the complete utter visitation upon this place, them niggas are going to seek for the refuge in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. They going to try to call upon the Lord, man. It tells you that in Proverbs. Then they shall call upon me, but I will not answer. Yeah, all these niggas that been scoffing, okay? All the niggas that come up on our pages talking that shit, all right? Mocking the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, mocking the gospel, mocking His men. They're going to be seeking those same very men when this hell comes, man, okay? But that's when that famine is going to be there, and they ain't going to have no answers for it, man. They ain't going to know what the hell to do. Okay, all these people that's playing games, all right, thinking that they got liberty, they got, you know, they got time just to be in vanity, to be just indulged in this world. That's when when this shit hits the fan, man. Which we coming into that time, okay? You got Trump calling out the Fed, this economic volatility, all right, the de-dollarization. All these things are all a conglomerate of the destruction that's about to hit this place, man. Okay, and the Lord was sending out that warning of, look, saying, what, I could take down the words, my words, just like that, man. Because the words of the Lord is mainly going out on what, the YouTube. So He's saying I could take down my word just like that. None of the watch is going to be able to warn you, and none of the sea is going to be able to tell you what this is, man. To give you a sense of security, because they got the knowledge. Okay, we have the knowledge, man, and the knowledge is what's going to keep you stable, man. So you know, with that, hey, to the brothers that are watching, to the sisters that are watching, continue to watch. To the niggas that are playing around, all right, lukewarm, you better get hot, man, or the Lord going to spew you out, and you going to be partakers of those individuals in that second death, man. Okay, so with that, Lord willing, this is edifying, exhorting to the elect. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and Shalom to the house of David, man. Shalom.
All right, Shalom. Giving all praises and glories and honors to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom to all the brothers out there that's pushing His work out in sincerity and truth in the four corners of the earth in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. This is the brother Kodash Payah, and I just wanted to make a quick update, which was unexpected, but we had a quick shutdown on YouTube that went out, you know, I believe worldwide, and I thought it was only me, but ultimately we had other users complain about it, and you have this article I wanted to bring out, which was just updated. Obviously, you can see published. It says YouTube users question sanity, reality as service goes dark worldwide. So the YouTube service had went dark worldwide for, I believe, about an hour or two? You know what I mean? So I'll read a little bit and then bring out some scriptures and some edification. You know, YouTube videos began returning errors around 9 p.m. The site infrastructure still loads, but the video themselves do not play and are replaced by error messages uploading users to please try again later. So that's what it would say when you try to watch a video. And these are screenshots right here showing the people that try to log on. You know, you got people commenting, WTF, you know, is happening with YouTube right now. You know what I mean? So, hey, somebody even posted up a little clip with Homer Simpson, the end is near. I mean, it says Twitter and Facebook erupted with traffic as users tried to figure out what was going on, but no one seems to have solved the mystery yet. Deprived of their ability to watch video clips, people did their best with GIFs. Alright? So now you got a couple clips that people have posted up, and you know what I mean? Little exaggeration memes. But hey man, ultimately, this goes to show you that any day, there could be a complete systematic shutdown. You know what I mean? As far as even EMP, where the entire grid of the United States can be completely shut down. All the social media, your Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Google, whatever. I mean, you name it. Your phone itself, And then prior to this, you had Donald Trump, sending a message worldwide to your phones. So, hey man, this is not a coincidence at all. This is all staged and it's all a test. You know what I mean? Because if there's an EMP attack, right, per se, everything that's run upon an electromagnetic field, which is the grid, like the shit, not only your phones, your laptops, your desktops, a lot of jobs will be shut down for this. A lot of your lights, there'll be a national blackout. You know what I mean? The buses won't run, your cars won't run. You're not gonna be able to cook your food. You know what I mean? The supermarkets and the refrigerators, foods will rot. You know what I mean? You're gonna have the train station, the subways shut down. You can't travel to and fro as you normally do. You know what I mean? Even airplanes will end up crashing because it runs on all this technological grid. You know what I mean? Which is very, very dangerous, but it's also, part of prophecy. You know what I mean? Because hey man, I would bet your bottom dollar 95% of Americans, don't have the ability to survive in the wilderness without technology. You're gonna have all chaos break loose, riots, people running into stores, breaking into shit, people running into your cribs, robbing so they could, you know what I mean? So this is a big deal, man. Brothers could get this article on RT News, but let's get out some precepts because I don't want this to be too long. I want the point to go across. Real quick, this is a screenshot that I have taken on Facebook. Somebody had put up, laugh out loud, I thought it was only mine. Somebody else shared it. I'm the only one crazy, or YouTube is down. So showing that it was happening all over, man. Everyone was being affected by this. Ultimately, this is what it is. Amos chapter 8 verse 11. Alright, now it says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord." And ultimately, pursuing to Job, where it speaks about the unicorn, the Most High had created the internet so the word can go across the four corners of the earth, because the scriptures even say, matter of fact, let's get that. Because that's why the Most High created the social media and the internet, so that way the word could go out and travel instantaneously. You know what I mean? Because in the ancient times, the prophets used to travel to preach in different cities. Now this is Matthew chapter 24 verse 14. "And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." So that's talking about the everywhere, all throughout the four corners of the earth. You know? Now, it's another precept I want to get. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 9. It says, they shall run to and fro in the city. Right? Because people's going to panic, man. And people's not going to know why, you know, things are happening. You know what I mean? Even they're going to shut down the bridges and everything because cars can't travel. You know what I mean? How they going to get gas? How they going to, you know what I mean? They're going to have a complete, you know, quarantine. It says, they shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the walls of the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the widows, at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be darkened and the stars. So this is basically talking about the end times, man. You know, but basically the verse 9 is basically what's gonna happen. You know, you're gonna have all chaos break loose. You know, people's not gonna understand what's going on. You know what I mean? There could be hey man. That's why we gotta consistently watch and pray and read the scriptures to understand, you know, why certain events, certain tests, and you know, situations occur unexpectedly, because the Lord said what? I come as a matter of fact, let's get that. You know, let's get that. Alright, this is, matter of fact, there was a couple precepts on that one. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say, you know, that's the point on that. I mean, you can even keep reading because it goes to the upon the matter of fact, let's get that. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as a travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right? So, like, you know, when a woman is in travail and she's about to give birth, and her labor pains become more severe, all right, now it gets worse and worse, the pains. And throughout time, you know, things start to escalate. Things become worse and worse. You know, like you have America sending troops, I believe, in Norway now. You know what I mean? For tests, for test runs. You know, but just showing you that, you know, all these events that's happening slowly but surely, you know, it's intensifying. You know. Like a woman in travail, her water's about to pop. And when this thing pops, man, a lot of people are going to be clueless, you know. 2 Peter 3 and 10, but the day of the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. And when it means heaven, it's talking about this rulership, all right? It's saying it shall pass away with a great noise, right? When World War III come upon, you know what I mean? With the missiles and a bunch of warlike sounds, trumpets and everything. Which right now, this is the trumpet being blown to those people so they can have eyes to see, man, and ears to hear. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat, you know. And the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up, right? So that fervent heat, man, is talking about the missiles. But right now, this is the famine of the word coming to play, and things are starting to escalate, you know. So hopefully this was edifying. And brothers got to constantly watch and pray in the news and bring out these prophecies in the scriptures, so that way the sheep and people that don't know any better can listen and see and have an understanding what's going on, and ultimately that they can repent and come back to the Lord's statutes and commandments and wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to know that the kingdom is at hand. But for the heavenly kingdom to come, this kingdom got to be destroyed.
And today, 2 more bees, man. And look how cold it is outside. That's why every time Satan shows himself, the Most High reacts, man. So any obstacle, no matter what it is, the Most High shows himself on the right-hand side. Most High's doing his thing, man. The Lord's doing his thing, man. This frequency and this energy is coming out, man. And these devils are trying to stop it, but they ain't gonna stop a fucking thing. They ain't gonna stop nothing, man. The Lord's word is gonna come to pass. Thus saith the Lord, man. And the men of the Lord are gonna get spiritual power. What that name is spiritual power. The Lord's gonna endow his men with spiritual, supernatural power, man. Spiritual, supernatural power, man. Power that the world has never ever seen before. We close to that, baby. Like that witch Biggie said, Brooklyn, we did it. Hey, how you doing? Got beautiful hair, yo.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise and Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Bahashem Harakak Kol Halayim Wahawad, La Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Bahashem Harakak Double honors go to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations, peace and blessing be multiplied unto the Bayafta Wadah, that is the house of David, the Most High Power's elect. I'm Nak Shamar with the Men of Valor, South Carolina camp. And about an hour and 45 minutes or so ago, I got a text from one of the Akim in the camp, the brother Yeshaya, that YouTube was shut down. All right. And I was on the job when that text came through. And a few minutes afterward, I went and got my phone, and I was trying to log on YouTube. And sure enough, YouTube was down. And apparently it was down for a little over an hour, to my understanding. But hey, this is it, man. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be down tomorrow and you're never going to have it again, but they're beta testing shutting down YouTube, man. It's been all in the news lately. All right, you know, RT had a article, I guess, that came out 2 or 3 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, talking about a global internet shutdown that would last for 48 hours. You know, all in the news lately, you've had rumors of cyber attacks, you know, a cyber attack coming from Iran or coming from North Korea or coming from China, okay? Any number of these foreign powers could hit Babylon the Great. You know, it could be a EMP or it could be a virus, all right, that shuts down, you know, internet service in Babylon the Great. And eventually it'll be worldwide, man. They're going to take all these videos off the internet very soon, all right, but because it's prophesied of in the scriptures, all right. The reason the elites are planning this is because the Bible says there's going to be a famine of the word, a famine of hearing the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, all right. And nobody's going to be feeling sorry for you 2/3 scoffing demons, all right, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and you confusion of faces who wag your heads and point your fingers and mock and toss this truth over your shoulder, all right, as you casually walk on past the camp, all right. Nobody's going to give a damn about you trying to find the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushua in that great day of judgment, man, all right. When the Lord takes his spirit out of this earth, it's game over for you, man. All right. And again, it could happen at any minute. You know, nobody's going to say, oh, tomorrow, October 17, 2018 is the day the elites shut down YouTube and you'll no longer have access to your social media. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's putting a date on it. But it's coming. This is coming, man. All right? This is coming. And this is one of the prophecies that must be fulfilled before the return of Yahweh Shai. All right? We got to go through a famine of the word, man. Let's see, this is Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. That's right, man. This prophecy of a famine of hearing the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not going to tarry, man. It's going to come sooner than you think. All right? Right now we're in our liberty, man. We could wake up, and there's a lot of brothers that have this testimony, man. But one of my only leisure activities, all right, being in this truth is watching other brothers preach and teach on YouTube. You know, that's literally how I spend a lot of my so-called free time, is watching videos, man. We have the luxury right now of picking up our smartphones or whatever, or logging on from our laptops or our iPads or what have you, and watching the brethren, you know, beginning with the elders and apostles on down to the men of the Lord who are preaching truthfully and sincerely across the four corners. We have the luxury of being edified every day, man. All right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Those days are coming to an end. All right? The night, matter of fact, before I get that in John, about the night coming when no man can work, I'm going to get the famine of the word scripture. All right? It comes out a lot. Let's bring it out. Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's right, man. It's going to be a famine in the land, man. All right, you Israelites out here won't be able to get the truth, man. Okay? You'll be stuck with all the false prophets that are out there, the false shepherds, the wolves in sheep's clothing, but you will not be able to hear the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai anymore at all. All right? And they shall wander, verse 12, from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua and shall not find it. That's right, you're going to be looking everywhere for it, man. All right, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and you're going to be running out to the campsites, man. You're going to be looking for the prophets on the highways and byways, and you're not going to be able to find the prophets. All right, because when this truth is taken off of social media and all these videos disappear and are scrubbed off the internet, that'll end the preaching and teaching out on the highways too, man. All right? The men of the Lord are not going to be teaching once the internet gets shut down, man. It's going to be too hot out on the streets. All right? In that day shall the fair virgins, verse 13, and young men faint for thirst. All right? Yeah, man. Hey, the 2/3 are going to be fainting for thirst, man, because this truth is living water. All right? Yahweh Shai said that this truth is living water. All right? And so it's not a physical thirst, although, yeah, physical famine's coming. This is a spiritual famine, man. And that living water is going to be unavailable in the very near future. All right? I kind of jumped ahead of myself. I was wanting to go to John, the 9th chapter, because Yahweh Shai said a time was coming when no man was going to be able to do this work, man. All right, right now we're in the daytime. We're in the day. All right, we can do this thing. We can push the word. We can edify. All right, but the night's coming when no man's going to be able to work. This is John 9 and John 9 and verse 4. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. That's right. When the elites decide to pull the plug on the internet, all right, the elites on the left-hand side, all right, the Jewish international bankers, that's a wrap. No man's going to be able to work from there on out. All right. So we got to push this truth while we still are in the day, man, while it's still daytime. All right. We got to edify the sheep. All right. The lost sheep of the house of Yahshua. Because for now, anyway, it's still day. Again, it's going on. Well, it's just past 11:30. And, you know, I just accessed the internet about a half hour ago. All right. So it's back online. Everything's up. But, you know, it could go down again in an hour. All right. Once again, they're beta testing and preparing for when it actually does go down. All right. And you've been warned time and time and time and time again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai that this day is coming. All right. That's why we pull Isaiah 55 and 6 so much. All right. And that's how I'll end it. All right. Just a quick update on the famine of the word. Very familiar scriptures coming out. All right. This is Isaiah 55 and 6. Seek ye Yahweh by Shem Yahushua while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. All right, he's still near right now. You still have access to the Lord right now. Right now at 11:34 p.m. on the East Coast and FEMA region number 4, October 16, 2018, you still have access to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right. How much longer will you have that access? Only the Most High knows. All right. Seek him while he may be found. I hope you're edifying with that. I want to say shalom.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth with sincerity. Neshah Chiakim that's out there on the four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth. Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Kodash, Brakatham. And so, if you're like me, and I definitely could tell who is and who isn't. I mean, you have your notifications that come up, you know. And so, sure enough, around 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is on the East Coast of 9 p.m. Eastern time, yeah, I got notifications, in fact, from San Francisco camp, a breakdown, and then I went to play the video and it would not play. And so I'm like, okay, did they just shut down my channel? You know, so I tried switching to another account and tried to look and get through. You know, and then sure enough, I decided to look to see if there's any outages, if it was just my... So what I did is I turned off the Wi-Fi on my phone, right? To see if the Wi-Fi was messed up, you know, because, you know, if you notice, though, that they've been doing a lot of beta testing with just your local cast or Spectrum. You know, a lot of things been acting really weird lately, and then they talked about, you know, outages, you know, Verizon outages. Yeah, exactly. It is the fan of the word. This beta test was definitely to show, though, that they're going to take down the truth. You know, but most of all, though, I was trying to get on there, and I couldn't get on even with the other YouTube channels. And then I looked and saw that I looked at the outages, and they said that Eastern United States or West East or something. Had some outages, and I noticed that China had it and some other places as I was trying to look it up on the map, but there were a lot of places that didn't say that they had it. But then I went to look at the comments, and a load of them, you know, a lot of them October 17th, so that tells me that's on the other side of the world, because today is October 17 our time, but so it was happening everywhere. And then I looked to Twitter, which, you know, I happen to have a backdoor to Twitter. Sure enough, RT, I found the article that YouTube was officially down worldwide. You know, this is say that you look for torrents or whatever, and they say that the thing isn't working. They're taking down torrent sites all the time. But Never seen it with YouTube. So that tells me, okay, you know, the presidential alert came. Alex Jones was taken off completely. Then not long after Alex Jones, then the TV government channels, the pro-government channels were taken down as well. So not been able to get a lot of news out of Syria because we know that Assad is about to liberate Idlib from the terrorist groups. And so we got another attack that just happened in Crimea, you know, which is a retaliatory attack. They say that this is ISIS. ISIS claims that. And we know that ISIS is really Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all them. And yet now you got this ambassador who has also been killed. And so you got all that going on. And it's like, okay, you know, ISIS a new Benghazi scandal, you know, with the presidency and all that. And it's just because they did all this shit with Barack Obama, you know, the pressure was on him, you know, because he made the Iran deal, and or actually before the re-election. But you know what I'm saying, though, that a lot of distractions going on. But at the main time, they're looking to pull the plug on the truth, you know. And so, sure enough, this will bring in the famine of the word. So I'm going to read out of Isaiah chapter 19, starting in verse 16. I do apologize. This is not the King James Version, but this is one of the few that has the Apocrypha. So I plan to read out of that as well. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 16. On that day the Egyptians will be like woman, and tremble and fear before the hand that the Lord of hosts raises against them. And so, well, you know, that's us coming into this truth and us prophesying against them, because they know that what we're prophesying is going to come to truth. It's going to come into fruition very shortly here. And this being the year of prophecy, we've seen a lot of prophecy already take place, starting with the Sears and Kmart shut down, Toys R Us, now Sports Authority shut down, Orchard Supply Store shut down completely. So we see just that alone. Then the tariffs happening, you know, and, you know, prices and things. And then you got the storms that just happened, especially Hurricane Michael. But Florence, or was it Hurricane Florence? Yeah, I think it was Hurricane Florence, which this other one just totally, you know, became even bigger. And the land of Judah will become a terror to the Egyptians. So we're that terror. And that's why they try to even call us black extremist groups, because we're a terror unto them. So they want to try to label us as terrorists. You know, I can't help but think about what the elders and apostles they went through after September 11, you know, that they had to spend some time in jail because they were linked to terrorist groups, you know, which, you know, they blamed Al-Qaeda as a part of the terrorist groups, but we know that it had nothing to do with Saudi Arabia or Al-Qaeda. It was an inside job all along. But of course, they're going to blame Al-Qaeda, just kind of like the Saudi Arabia recent events, you know. Everybody knows that Saudi Arabia is ISIS, is the proxies of the United States. But yet, what's happening is, you know, we're calling out everything, you know. And so it's a terror unto the Egyptians. Everyone to whom it is mentioned will fear because of the plan that the Lord of hosts is planning against them. And what is it that we're telling them? We're telling them that thermonuclear destruction is about to come to pass, and that they will soon force their mark, and everybody who takes that mark, which is the RFID implant, will in fact be caught up in this second death, which is the lake of fire, which is the 200 million nuclear missiles and the fire coming from the chariots. On that day there will be 5 cities in the land of Egypt that speak the language of Canaan and swear allegiance to the Lord of hosts. One of these will be called the city of the sun. You know, and that's kind of funny because we know that Esau has no religion, so he adapts the religions of the world. And, you know, any biblical movie, Esau wants to play all the parts. He wants to play the Egyptians, he wants to play the Greeks, he wants to play the Romans. Well, we know that he is part of the Roman Empire. He also wants to play the Israelites, so he likes to play all of it. He likes to take all that credit upon himself. And swear allegiance to the Lord of hosts. One of them will be called the city of the sun. You know how you have sun, day worship, you know, the worship of the sun. That's why they have their congregation on the day of the sun. On that day, there will be an altar to the Lord in the center of the land of Egypt, and a pillar to the Lord at its border. It will be a sign and a witness to the Lord of hosts in the land of Egypt. When they cry to the Lord because of the oppressions, he will send them a savior and will defend and deliver them. The Lord will make himself known to the Egyptians, and the Egyptians will know the Lord on that day and will worship with sacrifice and burnt offering. But most of all, though, what's happening is now people are starting to find out that he's not this image that they put up, that is, in fact, a false image. What was kind of funny is just right before I got into this truth, I actually seen it, that somebody within the Pentecostal church posted on Facebook, before I got out of that, they posted on Facebook that that image of Caesar Borgia, and they did use the name Caesar Borgia, is a false image, and that they really need to repent of this, you know. And soon enough, and there was before it's news, but she tried to paint a totally different image than what the Bible actually speaks on what she thought that the Savior should look like. But she knew that it wasn't Caesar Borgia, you know. I think her name was Lisa. So these Edomites know that this image that they've been worshiping the whole time is not the true biblical image. They know that it's a false image. And yet, at the time, now they fear because they're finding out that the true image was, in fact, a so-called black man. And they know what they've already done to the so-called black man. And they're scared because they know that reading these scriptures, that very soon he's going to take vengeance for what was done to the children of Israel. And they know that the Latinos and Native Americans also make up the children of Israel. So they're really scared now because we're coming back to our heritage and we're calling upon our power, and we have the real names, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And they're afraid when we speak that name because they know that their hoax is just about up. And they will make vows to the Lord and perform them. The Lord will strike Egypt, striking and healing. They will return to the Lord, and he will listen to their supplications and heal them. This is talking about those that come out of this world, like I came out of this world. You know, I once did follow Christianity, but, you know, slowly but surely, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not matching up to what I'm reading. How can it be all love if we're seeing all these things happening, you know? And eventually we come to this truth, and that's how we're being healed. On that day there will be a highway from Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian will come into Egypt, and the Egyptians into Assyria, and the Egyptians will worship the Assyrians. On that day Israel will be the third with Egypt and Assyria, blessing in the midst of the earth, because, of course, we're going to be in power, and we're going to be a blessing to all these other nations because it's much easier for them to be a slave underneath us. Because I see it all the time, you know. I see Palestinians telling us who our power is and saying to come back because they hate being oppressed by Amalek, that they'd rather be under slavery under us, subject unto us, because it is going to be an easier subjugation. Because, of course, Esau will be out of power. You know, they see Esau for the piece of shit he is. They really wish that they never made that deal with Esau, you know, when they vowed, you know, to push Christianity and push, you know, the lies. But most of all, though, Esau knows all this is coming, and that's why that test beta last night, you know. And, of course, all the other beta tests, you know. They are looking to shut this whole thing down very shortly here, so the time of mercy is just about up. So, of course, we already know about Amos chapter 8. Like I said, this is a little bit of a different translation, but I'll go into verse 7. The Lord has sworn by the pride of Jacob, surely I will never forget any of their deeds. Shall not the land tremble on his account, and everyone mourn who lives in it? And all of it rises like the Nile, and be tossed about and sink again like the Nile of Egypt, you know, and unfortunately, 2/3 of our people, all they want to do is party. You know, they just want to have a good time. They're watching the NBA, football, you know, all these other things as distractions. You know, so they're not really worried about what's going on. You know, after Hurricane Michael, they're not really too worried about anything. Well, you know, that'll never affect me, but it is going to affect the whole economy because a lot of crops were destroyed in this. On that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will make the sun go down at noon and darken the earth to broad daylight. I will turn your feast into mourning and all your songs into lamentation. I will bring sackcloth on all, baldness on every head. I will make it like the morning for an only son, and the end of it like a bitter day. The time is surely cometh, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine on the land, and a famine, not a famine of bread, or a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh. So, you know, the time of us being able to go out there and proclaim this, we know that this is surely, we would have no reason to do it if YouTube is taken down, because most of the time we're speaking to the whole world, the World Wide Web, and without it, you know, we know that they are already cracking down as they are making more people homeless. So as a reason for security everywhere is because the homeless problem, which they created, like Car Fire created that over here, created more homelessness, and 30% of Redding's population was already homeless, you know, and they have a strong hatred for homeless, you know. So, you know, a lot of times I'll be teaching at one place, and sure enough, they're looking for loitering, you know, because, yeah, almost everywhere that I go, there's some sort of homeless colony around the surrounding areas. So they got security just about everywhere. You know, so we got to be wise about this thing, but that just shows that the famine is coming really soon, to where it's not really safe to go into these areas because, you know, you know, you can find out though that you know, there won't be much reason to do it, and once YouTube's gone, that shuts down everything. And that day, the beautiful young woman and the young men shall faint for thirst. Those who swear by Asherah of Samaria and say, and your God lives, O Dan, and as the way of Bathsheba lives, they shall fall and never rise again. And we know that this time is coming to pass really soon. You know, that we won't be out there much longer because, you know, there's no point in being out there once the web is down. So, you know, that's coming to pass really soon. I'm trying to get into the Apocrypha here, because that was the main reason for having this one. Yeah, 2nd Ezra chapter 11. On the second night I had a dream. I saw rising from the sea an eagle that had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. I saw it spread its wings over the whole earth, and all the winds of heaven blew upon it, and the clouds were gathered around it. I saw that out of its wings 3 grew opposing wings, but they became little puny wings, but its heads were at rest, and the middle head was larger than the other heads, but it too was at rest with them. Then I saw the eagle flew with its wings, and it reigned over the earth and over those who inhabit it, which is talking about Babylon the Great, America, you know, because it exalts itself as the eagle, you know, which has always been the image of Esau from every empire that he controlled. And we know that America is that final empire, Babylon the Great. And I saw how all things under heaven were subjected to it, and no one spoke against it, not a single creature that was on the earth. Then I saw the eagle rise upon its talons, and it uttered a cry to its wings, saying, do not all watch at the same time in its own place and watch in its turn, but let the heads be reserved for the last. And again, we're at the last ends, the frayed ends of America, and they're scared of this, and that's why they want us off the street. Because of course they're not going to tell the people that, oh yeah, yeah, we're headed for World War III, unless it's some sort of campaigning thing, you know, to give you the illusion of there being an election, which we know the elections are rigged. You know, it's pretty much what these elites do is it's the game of risk. They control all the countries in the world. They just throw the dice down, and you know, kind of like how they threw down Gaddafi and then they threw down Saddam. They controlled all these places. France owns Syria, and like everything else, though, of course, the Syrians ain't going to capitulate. So that's why this current war, you know. And Macron of France is saying, we don't want to deal with the harlot anymore. And so France is breaking off. A lot of these other nations are breaking off because they're tired of playing that game. You know, they're tired of playing games with Esau, which, you know, are the bankers. And we could also see that what's happening is this cashless society is coming up really quickly, you know. And we already know that they've pretty much gone cashless in Venezuela, but we know that China's been developing that for years, you know, and Beijing is a cashless area. You know, people pay with cell phones, you know, with the barcodes. And we know the number of his name, the person that invented the barcodes, we know that 666, you know, being the number of his name, that it's you know, we got the system already in place. The beast system is already in place, and so the last thing to do is to make everybody capitulate to those chips, which are you know, already in credit cards and the Real ID Act. You know, that they're going to replace everything with that, and that's going to roll out all these other things, which is why we're seeing these other things coming. So just as all this is about to happen, they will shut down this internet, and we'll start gaining control. You know, they'll take down all the free channels, and they'll make it to where you have no choice but to subscribe to YouTube Red. But as far as being able to upload content, no, man, it's going to be way more regulated. That pretty much you're not going to see us prophesying anymore, you know. And for that, you know, that means that everything else must come to pass. That means that the elect must have been sealed by that point, because once this word has gone out, then there's really no more warning. Warnings are up. And it's now time to be prepared, because Yahushua is coming back. And that's what they're really scared of, is they know that this is kicking off real soon. So they got to do what they got to do in order to hold on to what they think that they have. Most of all, to fight against Yahushua and the angels, which is why they have the Space Force, which is why, you know, they're spending tons and tons of money trying to build that up, because it's coming back to take this place. And with that, you know, last night's beta test is just what it was. But also, you can best believe that during that beta testing, that they were definitely probably took down some channels, because we know that they've been removing government channels, and a lot of truth are shut down. And of course, our channels have been shut down on numerous occasions, unfair community guideline strikes. So it's just a matter of time to where by the time they get us off of YouTube, that we won't be able to go to a second or third channel, you know. Pretty much, you know, they'll be able to track by the IP address, you know, and just won't allow us back on there. And that's when we know that our job is done. And all we do is just watch for the events. Most of all, stay vigilant. And of course, we know not to take the RFID implant, no matter what. So for that, I want to say, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash, Barakathum. Hope this has been edifying. Shalom. So continuing onward, Gomer has evidence that this Saudi journalist was in fact murdered in Istanbul And so this is putting a lot of pressure on the West, especially Donald Trump, to do something, which I believe is all a ploy, you know, for the so-called elections, which are totally fake. They know that these things, they know who's going to win, you know, but a lot of people are hoodwinked into thinking, oh, yeah, they, you know, now they got a scam on him, you know. Yeah, nothing's going to happen of this, and like everything else, these are just distractions from the bigger picture.
The Turkish Attorney General's office reportedly says evidence supporting suspicions that the dissident Saudi journalist was killed in the kingdom's consulate general in Istanbul has been found. The Attorney General's office says the evidence of tampering has been found also inside the Saudi diplomatic mission. Turkish police are also reportedly in possession of an audio recording which allegedly indicates that Jamal Khashoggi was murdered at the Saudi consulate. Police and other officials are in Saudi Arabia's consulate general as part of an investigation into the disappearance of Khashoggi. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump says he has talked to the Saudi king and that Riyadh denies any involvement in the disappearance of Khashoggi.
I just spoke with the King of Saudi Arabia, who denies any knowledge of what took place with regard to, as he said, his Saudi Arabian citizen. I've asked, and he firmly denied that. I've asked Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to immediately get on a plane, go to Saudi Arabia, go to other places if necessary, which he probably will, but with regard to this, go to Turkey if necessary.
Trump said he thinks rogue killers might have been behind the disappearance and murder of the dissident Saudi journalist. The U.S. Secretary of State is set to travel to Turkey after visiting Saudi Arabia to discuss the Khashoggi case. The developments come as CNN also is claiming that Riyadh is preparing a report to admit to the murder of Khashoggi during an interrogation. For more on that, we're joined by Mr. David Yahubian, professor of California State University. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us once again on Press TV's Top 5. Now, these are very interesting developments as we've been following the Khashoggi case in Istanbul. Now, what do you make of the evidence that the Turkish government claims to have? They claim to have audio pertaining to the torture and eventual killing of the Saudi journalist. And of course, on the other hand, we have the Saudi king completely denying that it is behind this.
Well, certainly it would be great to either be able to see or hear even a portion of this evidence, but with the strength with which the Turkish government is proclaiming that they have audio and video evidence, I don't actually doubt that they have it. But what seems to be developing is the attempt to create a narrative to somehow, in this extreme crisis management mode that the Saudi government is in, to create a narrative whereby, you know, this is some rogue killers who somehow came out of Saudi Arabia on the Gulf Stream jets and happened to bring a forensics expert and a bone saw along with them, or they're going to try to meld that with the narrative that somehow perhaps they were actually on official business to bring in, as it's being emphasized now, this Saudi citizen, rather than stating that he was a permanent resident of the United States, and that, you know, something went awry, and that, you know, potentially it was an accident. But basically what we're seeing is a charade being developed, and Donald Trump today serving as the PR frontman for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in floating this rather absurd idea that it was rogue killers. But this is currently where we stand. I just want to add that it seems as though the Turkish government itself is now slowing down on its statements and certainly the release of any actual evidence. And what seems to be brewing is potentially a joint three-way narrative that the United States, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia will float, and accordingly the Erdogan administration and the Saudis will receive as well as the United States, all receive benefits by maintaining the status quo, and Turkey will be able to consider itself, if you will, out of the doghouse, at least temporarily.
Mr. Yahubian, well, eventually it seems that all the evidence is leading to the fact that Mr. Khashoggi was killed in the Saudi consulate. Isn't that a very bold move? Why would Saudi Arabia risk putting itself in a situation like this?
I genuinely don't think that censorship, and let's just face it, it's the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman who is by all accounts and his actions a megalomaniac, and he's completely detached from the rest of global reality, let's just say, in his cocoon in Saudi Arabia, having never really extensively traveled outside or been educated outside or interacted with the outside world. And so I think in the context of Donald Trump's empowering of dictators and favorite strongmen around the world, and his diminishment of interest, if there can be said to be any at all, in human rights and international law, that the Crown Prince just thought that he could order this, and that he could do away with one potentially prominent critic. And I say potentially because it's not exactly clear what Mr. Khashoggi was becoming involved in, whether he's becoming involved in potentially establishing an alternative political party, or if he was just lightly penning criticisms from the side. But I think that I don't doubt at all that the Crown Prince would have ordered this type of action to basically proclaim that wherever you are, if you are a Saudi Arabian citizen or a critic of Saudi Arabia, and you're not in support of my program, and you know, whether we want to call that reform or just further autocratic power grabbing, that this is what will happen to you. That we will send the forensics expert and the bone saw and the team to take care of you. So I think that they just completely the Crown Prince completely misjudged the situation, and now in an effort to save his succession to the crown, he's going to have to get involved with many layers of malarkey to create a narrative that will potentially placate the international community and the global media.
Now, Mr. Yahubian, very quickly, because we're running out of time, but I think it's very important. At the beginning of all this, we heard the UN calling for an independent investigation. We never heard anything following that call. Can we hope for an independent investigation and justice for Mr. Khashoggi?
We certainly can and should all hope for it, but in the context of the current power arrangement within the United Nations, within the context of American global empire and its, let's just put it lightly, shenanigans in the Middle East, its advancing of a chaos strategy everywhere in the Middle East outside of Israel, I don't believe that we can count on it. So we'll maintain hope.
Thank you very much, Mr. David Yahubian, with his take on Jamal Khashoggi's case.
And while that's still going on, of course, like everything else, I'm sure you've heard about the WWE Crown Jewel event in Riyadh about to take place soon. And so, yeah, they are saying that they want WWE to cancel that event, you know. Put pressure there as well, but you know as well as I do that they're going to go forward with this anyways, because of course, you know, it's about that money, you know, and we know that Saudi Arabia is really the hub of ISIS, which they use to terrorize the region. And in fact, they had also used the Muslim Brotherhood to take over Libya, as well as Egypt, you know. So pretty much, though, all these things are happening.
The WWE is still making logistical and technical plans for its upcoming event, Crown Jewel, in spite of news this week that the Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi may have been killed by agents of the Saudi government. Several members of the United States government have since commented on WWE's decision to continue forward, with both Republicans and Democrats being universally critical of the brand's decision. According to comicbook.com, comments critical of the WWE holding the show have come from U.S. Senators Chris Murphy, Bob Menendez, and Lindsey Graham. Menendez himself says because Linda McMahon is part of the president's cabinet, it falls into the gray area where the administration really should give it some thought and maybe even prevail upon them not doing it.
And in the meantime, They got them guillotines ready. They're already there in the military bases. And so they're about to roll this out. You know, when the famine of the word comes and we can no longer warn of these things, the only thing left is martial law and, of course, the guillotines for those that refuse to take the RFID implant. It's coming.
You know, about maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, I heard a phenomenal testimony on YouTube about 2 U.S. soldiers that got murdered. Basically, they were down in a basement in a military base, and they went into a room that they were not authorized to go into. You know, it's kind of like they were just snooping around. They went into this large room, and what they found was modern-day guillotines. And they freaked out, and they started telling people. And within, I don't know, a short period of time, they both wound up dead. And that story got onto the internet. I clearly remember it. But their shocking story is not the only one talking about military bases and guillotines. Why are modern guillotines on military bases throughout North America? Maybe because they plan on killing us. This story comes from a Christian truck driver that delivered a shipment. He happened to look inside of his semi-trailer and probably got the shock of his life. He was delivering modern-day guillotines to a Marine base in Billings, Montana. There is no doubt in my mind that guillotines are being stored in selected military bases. In fact, I absolutely believe that 1 out of 10 U.S. soldiers are wicked, murdering criminals that would have no problem with murdering you and me and the guy down the street. They would have no problem. And there's even bizarre stories about prisoner boxcars, rail cars that have shackles already built into the floors of the boxcars. I do know this: if you get left behind the rapture and you're taken to a FEMA facility or UN soldiers come and take you, don't fear. Say your prayers, get as close to God as you can, and maybe you can be so filled with the Spirit of God that you can smile while they chop your head off. Wouldn't that be the greatest way to die or leave this earth? To smile as they chop your freaking head off. Because when you study up on the Bible and what it has to say about Babylon the Great and the end result of Babylon the Great, and then Hollywood actually puts in their movies the future of America and how they seem to unpleasantly line up. I mean, if you have not seen this movie, you have to watch this movie. We know that America is Babylon the Great. Okay, it clearly says she's surrounded by many waters. Okay, America is surrounded by many waters. Rome is not surrounded by many waters. The Bible also says that great city Babylon, the great merchants of the earth, will stand afar off in fear and horror at her destruction and all that. Well, guess what? The great merchants of the earth could not go to Rome if their life depended on it, because Rome does not have a deep port harbor. Okay, it's talking about New York City, that great city Babylon, where the kings of the earth meet. Well, the UN headquarters just happens to be in New York City. It's talking about New York City or America. But Hollywood has put in front of your face the end result of America. All the land's going to be burned up. There's going to be cannibalism. You can't grow crops. It's just not possible. The only way to survive is if you have a powerful anointing where you can pray over empty pots and you have food, and you can pray over empty water jugs and you have water. That's the only way you're going to survive. But what I wonder is actually going to kill you with the guillotine. Is it going to be U.S. soldiers or is it going to be the UN soldiers? There's already videos and talk about UN soldiers in Chicago. There's been so many prophetic dreams about the UN soldiers that come flooding into America after the big earthquake splits America in half. And then it's followed by an economic collapse. And then total martial law, and then these UN soldiers, these foreign troops, there might even be 2 million or more that come flooding in as the international help. And they're going to be the ones that most likely try to take your guns or try to take you to FEMA facilities. That's when the shooting is going to occur. there's been other people that have had these dreams and visions where they see fighting against the government right before Russia and China and its allies attack America. And we know it's going to be an antichrist-like government during the time of the invasion. So when you start putting all these together, you can see that it most likely will be under an antichrist-like martial law scenario right before the attack. And the antichrist government that people see that it's going to be set up, if you want to get a shocking revelation, come over here to YouTube, type in like Dream Vision Obama Returns to Power, and then you can find this video. Prophetic Dream reveals Obama returning to power with Sister Beverly. When you start it at about 1 hour and 27 minutes. Now, I've listened to this 3 times, all the way through, from an hour 27 all the way, like 2 hours or whatever. But you want to get a shocking revelation, go check out this video. Now, what's so funny about the video, the Lord never told her that Obama is the Antichrist. She just assumes that he is. She had in the vision or dream, she saw where Obama is standing by this very large throne, this evil throne, and it even says Osiris, which is another name for Nimrod. And then she thinks that Obama is the Antichrist. No, he's standing next to the throne of the real Antichrist, which is Osiris or Nimrod. You know what I'm saying? But I've listened to it 3 times. You got to check it out. It will blow your mind.
And this video is from Brother Malcolm. We're going to find out who the real leaders of Israel are. You're going to find out that that's Great Millstone, and these other people have proven to be fake or have sold out. They once knew the truth, but then they took a deal with Esau. Just like Judas Iscariot. Hey, Nate might actually be the reincarnate of Judas Iscariot, because he certainly has all the traits.
Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Abishai Bahashem Rakak Badash. Double honors unto the apostles of GMS, who are the true leaders of all Israel on earth today. Salutations to all of my fellow laborers, my Akim, that do this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, to the confusion of faith brothers joined to our ranks of the hopefully elect, the Akwathium that are listening and learning. To you I say Shalom. All right. We are the Hebrew Israelites by blood, according to the Bible, according to the scriptures, according to the history, according to the relics. All right, we do not identify with any denomination of black groups, black extremists, or black identity groups. The word black used to identify human beings is a social construct created by the so-called white man, who is Esau Edom, who also created his whiteness. All right, he did that in 1681 on the East Coast. It was the first time ever in the history of mankind where there was any race of people identified as white. They gave themselves that title as a social construct. All right, and you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the rest of the world need to wake up to that fact. There are many, many dark races upon the earth, but only one is called black, and there's a reason for that. All right, if you've never taken the time to look up the definition of black, then you need to do so immediately. All right, that's why they label you that. Black is void of light and evil and wicked and everything bad, and white is basically pure and everything that is good. And there's neither black nor white people. People are different shades of brown and different shades of red. Hence the term redneck. Okay. What you're looking at on the screen is a shot from the beloved brother down in Carolina. Oh no, I take this back. This was Elder Yashawamba's video, because they both chimed in on it. All right, and I watched both videos and many videos on the subject. But what you're looking on the screen is Nate Satan. I don't know who the brother is on his beside him. That was actually quite a few years ago, but I remember seeing these videos like this of Nate when he first came on YouTube. Okay, he hadn't even really started graying yet. The gray was very like myself. The gray was barely there, setting in. All right, And the video is called Attention Sincere IUIC members. Nate is leading you to swift destruction, and he is. All right, destruction with a $sign. Okay, because that's what this guy is all about. But all through the video, he's basically caught, you know, being double-minded, blaspheming in Hebrew, but yet here he's teaching in Hebrew. All right. As a matter of fact, Nathaniel did one of the best breakdowns on proving that the name of the Father is Yahweh and the Son is Yahweh Shai to date. The video of him breaking down the name and proving it through the relics, through the Hebrew, you know, using the ancient Hebrew and the true spelling. He did one of the best breakdowns ever. All right. But Nate and men like him speak evil of the true watchmen, which is the label of this video. The true watchmen are GMS and their affiliates, man. What, like the internet went black for a while, YouTube was down, and I'm sure a lot of you people just panicked. And as soon as it was back up, the only Israelite camps that chimed in on the subject to filtrate it through prophecy was the Israelites, man. The famine of the word, man. But you people love to get together and speak ill and wicked of us. This is Matthew 5:10, and it reads, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." So the true men of the Lord are going to be persecuted, not only by the heathen, but also by their own people, the same way that the prophets were, man. All right, and all these groups that have different doctrines and different beliefs, one thing that they all agree on is that they hate GMS and its affiliates, man. The true watchmen. This is Luke 6:22. "Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake." And that's what's happening to us, the true watchmen. All these other groups get together and they cast our name out, man, as if we were wicked, and we're the true watchmen doing the work, man, day in and day out, without fail, man. You got guys like Nate that what they're trying to do, they appeal to this blackness, the Sakari. They appeal to blackness, knowing that that's a false narrative. And I can only, man, there's been so many times when you could probably find video sound bites of Sakaris telling you that black is a made up construct. Maybe not using no exact words, but there's probably hundreds of them, man. That we're people, that we're brown people that are brown, man. But you know, that money came into play. He took that purse, man, linked up with those black identity groups that they use black and African and all that, and all of a sudden the doctor started changing a little bit, man. All right. Then you people who just, you know, want to just change up everything that's in the scriptures without fail, man. So, you know, I'm going to read an account in Judges, you know, through the Spirit, and we're just going to break down the events that's happening and some of the truths that are in the Bible that people just like to overlook. All right. And if you notice in the book of Judges, there was a lot of infighting, man. Israel was fighting amongst themselves. It's the same thing all over again. Israel was killing each other. And through the Spirit that's happening. But you always had a remnant of people who were righteous and willing to follow the Lord. All right. And as soon as the Lord would set up a judge to judge and lead Israel, as soon as that judge would die, they would run right back to their wickedness, man. So this is Judges, the 11th chapter. And it says, "Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor, and he was a son of a harlot. And Gilead begot Jephthah, and that harlot, she was a heathen woman, man. All right, because his father had many sons with his wife, but he was the one born outside of that. But guess what? He still was an Israelite. Something you people don't want to acknowledge, that truth, that fact, man. All right, you're gonna try to come with all kind of excuses, but it's written right here in the Bible that he was an Israelite. And Gilead's wife bare him sons, and his wife's sons grew up, and they thrust out Jephthah, and said unto him, Thou shalt not inherit our father's house, for thou art the son of a strange woman. But you go to Numbers 1:18. You count it. Let me turn to it real quick. And they assembled all the congregations together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. By the house of their fathers, man. And people will miss the point yet again. Oh, it's an excuse to be with the heathen. No, it's not. It's just clarifying the fact that a lot of Israelites made children with heathen women, but those people were still Israelites, and those people often to this day look different. That's the point. The scattered Israelites scattered among the heathen, man. Millions upon millions upon millions of them. But you know, it's funny how in reverse, you know, if you dark complected, then you all good automatically, man. Even if you got an Edomite forefather. They don't like to look at that situation from the other way around, man. There's a lot of so-called Hispanics and natives who calling themselves that, who got Edomite forefathers, man. Most of the ones who own the, matter of fact, pretty much all of the ones who own the casinos and that sort of thing. That was that blood quadrant bullshit that Esau set up, man. He set that crap up so that these Edomites could claim Native American heritage and get all kind of benefits and monies, all right, through their mothers. And lineage is not through your mother. All right, it's through your father, period. Back to Judges, the 11th chapter. And Jephthah fled from his brethren. All right, you go to Romans 9, the 9th chapter, my brethren, according to the flesh, and dwelt in the land of Tob. And there was gathered vain men to Jephthah and went out to him. And it came to pass in the process of time that the children of Ammon made war against Israel. And it was so that when the children of Ammon made war against the elders of Gilead, went to fetch Jephthah out of the land of Tob. Why? Because he was a mighty man of valor, man. He had warrior skills and strength that his brethren didn't have, even though they were of pure stock. All right. If your father's the Israelite, you are pure, point blank, period. Even if you come out with slanty eyes like Ammon. Verse 6. And they said unto Jephthah, come and be our captain, that we may fight with the children of Ammon. And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead, did not ye hate me and expel me out of my father's house? And why are ye come unto me now, when ye are in distress? Just like the niggas, man. That's how you know this was us. All right. And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah, therefore we turn again to thee, now that thou art going with us, and fight against the children of Ammon, and be head over all the inhabitants of Gilead. In the same way, you clowns gonna turn to us when the Lord comes and shows who his true watchmen are, who the true men of the Lord are, man. A lot of you bootleg IUIC members, the ones who are not sincere, all right, who are following Nate and not Yahweh, not Yahweh Shai. We don't follow the apostles, all right. We follow Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai set them up, if that makes any sense to you. All right? The apostles have given me nothing but truth, man. They even told you to search out these things. Just don't take our word for it. Search it out. Nate Satan advises his men not to go study and look up things in the Hebrew and the Greek. Why? Because it revealed that he's lying about Scripture. All right. So just to prove that point, man, there's dissension in Israelite. The Lord is coming back for the hopeful elect, the Israel of power, the Israel of God, not all of Israel. 2/3 out of Israel outnumber us, and a lot of the 2/3 are actually calling themselves Israelites. A lot of the 2/3 know the name. Some of the 2/3 even go out on the highways and byways, but they're doing it in vain. They're not bringing forth the truth. So with that, you know, I hope this was a edifying lesson. Call halal Yahweh B'Shem Avashai B'Hashem Rakak Wadash and Wa Abba Babal.
Your back pocket or purse might soon come to an end. By 2020, mobile wallets on our smartphones are expected to surpass the use of credit and debit cards in the U.S. That has already happened in China. Ben Tracy is in Beijing to show us what a nearly cashless society actually looks like. Ben, good morning.
Good morning. So when I moved here to China a couple of months ago, I kept getting funny looks every time I would pull cash out of my wallet to pay for things. And then I got one of these. It's a code on my phone, and now I can basically buy anything here in China. When you pay for something, how do you pay for it?
Mobile phone.
On the streets of Beijing, cash is definitely not king. What do you think of people who use cash to pay for things? That's rare and weird, he says. Only the elderly and people who don't know how to use a phone pay cash. This woman says, I rarely take my wallet when I go out, just my phone. That's because those phones can buy just about anything, from clothes in the store to steamed buns on the street. They're used to pay for bike rides and bus rides, rent and utility bills. When was the last time you used cash? A month ago? Wow, that's a long time. WeChat and Alipay dominate China's mobile market, and payments on their platforms totaled more than $5.5 trillion last year, a 200% jump from the year before, and nearly 50 times more than the value of mobile payments in the U.S. One of the big reasons mobile payments have caught on so quickly here in China is because of what most people here don't have in their wallets: credit cards. They basically went from a cash-based society to a cashless one and skipped the step in between.
China has leapfrogged the U.S. into going to a cashless society.
Andy Mock is an economist in Beijing. He says China's cashless revolution has happened in just 3 years, largely thanks to these things called QR codes. You simply scan them with your phone to pay. Nearly every business and person has one. From the farmer's market to the musician on the street playing for a mobile tip. You can give a homeless person money with your phone. You would never see that in the U.S.
All you have to do is scan that code to transfer money. And it really is ubiquitous in China, from the largest cities, the fanciest hotels, to the most humble street-side shacks will all use QR codes.
The Chinese are comfortable doing everything on their phones, while in the U.S., credit cards and online shopping via personal computers still rule.
These kinds of legacy technologies make any adoption of newer generations of technologies much more slower. So in this sense, I think the U.S. has a little bit of catching up to do.
A recent survey found that 40% of Chinese people carry less than $15 on them, but they would never dream of leaving home without this. As one guy told me on the street, you can't achieve anything without your phone.
And Apostle Tahar goes a little bit further on the cashless societies here as he reads out of the book of Revelation and just kind of correlates the beginning video, you know. So yeah, the mark is soon upon us, and that's what their guillotines are for, you know, for those that refuse to take it.
Shalom. Apostle Tahar coming back at you with this truth, giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I'm going to entitle this one, The Mark of the Beast Will Come to China and Then the Whole World. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily come to China first, but China, it would be pretty easy for the beast, I'll say, to make the mark of the beast, which is the microchip, mandatory in China, because for the most part, I don't know the number of Christians in China, but if there are so-called Christians in China, I don't think they understand, you know, Revelation the 13th chapter from the 15th verse on down to the 18th verse. So I mean, it's something convenient to receive that mark, because as you just saw the this news, this special on China becoming cashless, and they interviewed certain people on the street, and one individual said that anyone that uses cash, they're kind of looked at as strange or weird. And for the most part, they use their smartphones to make purchases. And he also went on to say that people that use cash are weird people or older people. So it's going to be the thing to have. It's the the future is here. The future is now. It's convenient. It makes sense. Now, eventually, they'll go from the smartphone. People will lose their smartphone. People will steal their smartphones, and then they'll come up with the idea that if everybody had a mark, you can't steal the microchip unless you're a doctor and you sneak in a person's house and you do surgery and you take the chip out. And you out there that can't, whether you're Israelites, Christians, whoever, you out there that can't see that the mark of the beast is definitely the chip, either you're a bunch of dummies, or you've been paid off to teach something different, or you sold your soul to the devil, or because you've been teaching that the mark of the beast is something other than a microchip, and your pride won't allow you to admit that the mark of the beast is the actual microchip technology, which will be given to the whole planet. And I'm going to close with a couple of scriptures. And these are standard mark of the beast scriptures. It says in 2nd Ezra 16, you can start from the 67th verse and read down to about the 70th verse, and it speaks about then it shall be known who are my chosen. So the world will find out who the chosen elect of the Most High are, because you have Israelites that know that they're Israelites, but are they of the elect? That's the question. Anyway, I'm going to go to Revelation 13. I'll start at 16. It says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. 17. And that no man, now that proves to you that this is not talking about corporations or nations or an embargo. It clearly says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. And that last 6 and 366, that word is stigma or stigmata. The word mark in the 16th verse is charagma from the Greek. Now we're going to go to Revelation 14. And 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, is fallen. And Babylon represents the U.S., America, so you can understand. That great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. 9th verse. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast And most people don't even know what the beast is or who the beast is, and his image, and receive his mark, from the Greek word charagma, in his forehead or in his hand. So it's not talking about a corporation or a country. 10th verse, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Okay, one more, maybe two more. Revelation 15 verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. 2nd verse. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast. Who will get victory over the beast? The elect of Israel, not all Israel. And over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. Third verse, Revelation 15 verse 3. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High, and the song of the Lamb, the song of the Lamb. What is the song of the Lamb? Well, you can read about the song of Moses in Exodus, the 15th chapter, when the Most High destroyed, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai destroyed Egypt and delivered the children of Israel. Then it goes on to say, and the song of the Lamb. So when the Lamb comes back, which is Yahushai, and he destroys this place, we're going to sing a song. There's going to be a song about the destruction of Babylon the Great. It also tells you in the book of Jeremiah that we're going to have a high holy day to commemorate the downfall of Babylon the Great. This place is going down very soon. Whether it's next year, 2 years from now, this place is going down very soon. It goes on to say in the 3rd verse, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord, power almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. And the saints, the word saint or saint means holy, clean, righteous. So we are the holy, clean, and righteous people. It goes on to say in the 4th verse, who shall not fear thee, O Yahweh, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. And all the nations are going to worship, because they're going to be forced to worship our ways. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.
And now Chris Green is talking about a bigger event taking place, and he's also commented on the, the petrodollar system. That Saudi Arabia raising the barrel to $200 per barrel. So you know as well as I do that the famine of the word has come, as well as the famine of everything else. They're just planning the event to shut everything down.
Hey guys, Christopher Green. You're watching AMTV Alternative Media Television. We have
very, very big developments, and I've been warning about this over recent days, that we have a huge market move coming to the U.S. stock market, global markets. Of course, I warned about this several days ago. We've since had a huge rout in U.S. stocks. We were off some 1,400 points over the last few days, yo-yoed a little bit in the futures market yesterday, bounced around, and then of course now we've got this giant overhang over the weekend. But this is really, really big, and I don't normally put out a video on the weekends on Saturday. So please pay attention. There's a reason I'm putting out. I'm actually headed into studio, rushing in. We're shooting another video for our gold course because I want to put more content out so people get it before what I know is coming. Now, Jamie Dimon, one of the most influential bankers in the world, right? JP Morgan Chase, of the two big to fail banks, has put out a very specific message to the general public. And he is messaging not just to the general public and not just to you, because you need to understand this. The elites, they put out these things, okay? They signal not just to the public, but also to themselves. Okay, so what did Jamie Dimon say during his interview? And it's important to read between the lines. He is suggesting that a major global event is coming. He is suggesting that a conflagration with China, Russia, America's enemies is impending. He calls these, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, geopolitical events. He says that we've got these, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but these pains going on all around the world, everywhere we look, whether or not, again, it's in the South China Sea. And by the way, I'll go over this in a moment. John Bolton just issued a major warning. And he came out in the last 24 hours and said specifically that what China is doing will not stand in the South China Sea. Will not stand. And a lot of people ask, to go, Christopher, why is the South China Sea and the dredging of all these islands such a big deal? And this China saying, they've got sovereign power and control over this area. Like, why is it such a big deal? Well, for those of you that don't know, the South China Sea is responsible for over $5 trillion, with a T, $5 trillion worth of trade each year, of which China, over the years, as it's been building up its war chest of reserves and has been a rising military superpower, not to mention just the sheer wealth of human population and persons that they have on the ground. Their army is absolutely massive. It dwarfs what we have here in the United States when looking at the U.S. and her Western allies. But they've been building and dredging these islands. They now have complete control over the area. And there's nothing, this is what Jamie Dimon is referring to, there's nothing, let me repeat, that the United States can do but war, but to engage. Okay, and it's funny how the United States, this is just a war on words. We've exported all these jobs for the last several decades so we could get cheap stuff from China, right? So we're taking advantage of the situation. And then, in the meantime, they get wealthy and Americans lose, right? We've got all the fake wealth here in the United States. Everybody's broke, and China's the wealthy one. You see how that worked? You see the transfer of power? You see what just happened? So, it's interesting. So something we intentionally do, and of course all the bankers know this, and this is just economics and, taking advantage of trade and all these kinds of things. Now it's being used as a reason by Bolton and others to engage war and to engage conflict. So this is very, very serious. And Jamie Dimon's messaging is telling you, tuning in, and also, more importantly, his friends, okay, his international friends in the global banking cartel, what's coming next. They were running the same type of signaling and propaganda before the crash of 08 and 09. We saw the same thing if you go back to 1929 and some of the previous stock market crashes where there was even more manipulation as we go back longer in history. It's amazing what a lack of education that there actually is out there. Most people, for example, still don't know that this is a fact. The Federal Reserve is a private bank. It is not public. It is owned by international banks and actually pays dividends to those same banks. It's not a public institution. Okay, it's not worth the paper that it's printed on, so to speak. It's why we went off the gold standard, because the United States didn't have enough gold reserves to back what they were printing. So they just went off it, so they created funny money. So it's absolutely worthless. So there's this extreme overnight risk, not to mention a giant, huge warning by Jamie Dimon and others, basically suggesting that a great crash is coming. Now, we see this also with the tightening at the Federal Reserve. They're now pulling back these mortgage-backed security purchases and the purchases of all this paper that they had been doing post 08 and 09. That's coming to an end. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell has warned us about another interest rate hike he's promised in December, followed by 3 more. And although they'll be marginal, they can't stop what's coming. This is like a train, running down at high speed, and the wheels are flying off of it. Okay, this is what's happening. The only thing they can do is reset the paradigm, change the system, usher in war, collapse the dollar, which is exactly what's been happening. I mean, look, guys, if you just take a look at the, for example, gold Dow Jones ratio, or you compare gold to the dollar, you'll see a trajectory of the US dollar, which has lost over 90% of its value. Over 90% of its value almost overnight. All fiat currencies have always failed throughout history. So my point with this video is, number one, please share it. Understand how big this actually is. Please heed the warning. Again, I haven't felt this passionately about what's ahead since 2008 and 09. Okay, since literally I had tears in my eyes with some of my clients begging them to get out of the stock market. Okay, right after Lehman Brothers and these banks started to fail. Again, you get warning signs. Jamie Dimon's warning you. He's saying, get out of the stock market for the love of God. We're going to crash the entire system and there's going to be war. That's what he's telling you. Okay, but he's signaling it to his friends, the international bankers. Okay, so you must understand this, and now's the time to take action and prepare and put together your own personal war chest and your own strategy. Man, I was up at 4 a.m. this morning because I can't sleep because I know what's coming. And I'm just crossing T's and dotting I's and going over my own personal portfolio and all these kinds of things. And, it's not just about survival. It's about also taking advantage of what we know is ahead. Now, don't follow the crowds. Okay, I always say that. The crowds are always wrong. Okay, just like when we saw Bitcoin peak at 20,000, everybody wants to get involved. Grandma's talking about it. Okay, when you want to get involved in things is when there's complacency, like there is now. When there's consolidation. For example, Bitcoin is down, around 66,000-ish right now. Okay, it's off the highs. No one really seems to care about it. Now's the time. Okay, those that I know, the big players, okay, the Bitcoin billionaires are repositioning now. There's tons of money flowing in. Same thing with gold and the same thing with future. Long term, what we're going to see is a replacement of the US dollar and a move to some of these other assets. Circle just announced they are a Goldman Sachs backed like investment arm. Not only did they purchase a major crypto exchange, Poloniex, recently, but they're also making moves with another company called Seed Invest, because the future of fundraising and also the stock market is all based on blockchain tech. So again, don't follow the crowds. Most people, like what I just said, most people don't even know. They don't even know what Circle is. They don't even know what blockchain is. Just ask your friends. I guarantee if you ask your friends and your family, less than 1% actually own Bitcoin. Less than 1%. It's why the 1% get rich and the 99% don't. It's not that people aren't smart. It's because they don't have the tools. It's a lack of education, and then it's a lack of doing. So now's the time to build your war chest. I announced yesterday that we have a special promo because I want you guys to get in now before this crisis hits. 25% off the BitcoinRich.com course. Everything you need to know from the fundamentals all the way to advanced topics. Save 25% off. All you have to do at checkout, just make sure you click that little button that says coupon code and enter early bird. 25% off. Okay, and that's going away. And the reason for that is it's not fair to the other students that paid full price. So get in now, take advantage of the offer, and then also stay tuned for my How to Profit with Gold and Silver course. It's already been launched, but I've got a second video now in production. That's being shot today. And so I'll be moving that into production as well, so we get this information out ahead of the curve. And I love all you guys. God bless you. You know, I don't know what's going to happen on Monday, but as I said yesterday, it would not surprise me to see a horrific Monday and a horrific next week. There's extreme overnight risk, and Jamie Dimon just warned us of geopolitical risk. And he's telling you, he's telling me, he's telling all of us that a great war is coming to America, not to mention, you know, all these other problems that I just mentioned. So don't follow the crowd. Go against the herd. The herd is always wrong. Educate yourself and make sure you have the tools today. Join us at bitcoinrich.com. I'll see you guys all in school and the gold course as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.
And this is just continuing on with the topic. Famine of the word is coming really soon. You know, this ain't the time to be playing games. This is the time to start you know, being diligent about this and wrapping things up, you know, pretty much doing everything you can to edify the elect, so that way there's no excuse once this internet is gone.
Alright, Shalom. This is Brother Mayum. Brother Ash. Alright, we're coming at you from GMS Tampa Bay. First and foremost, we want to give all the praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachad Dash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and sincerity. So, you know, as most brothers by now, you know, if you haven't gotten the word, you know, YouTube went down for a short time last night, and like a brother, I seen a brother say earlier this morning, that's an omen of things to come. All right. An omen of the famine of the word, all right? Because you had people, you know, I believe the title of the article on RT was people are questioning their sanity after YouTube goes down, all right? You know, people, you know, all they like to do is go on YouTube and watch cat videos, and, you know, or you got these scoffers who all their purpose in life is to go onto YouTube and comment and bullshit on the Men of the Lord's videos, you know? And, you know, with the YouTube going down last night, you know, a lot of people didn't know what the hell they were going to be doing. You know, they what's it called? They, basically were kind of lost at life, all right? And really, you know, as that being a test of what's to come when the real famine of the word comes, man, because really, when the real famine of the word comes, man, all hell's going to get broken loose out here, man. The Lord's going to give that green light to let everything go, you know, start to, you know, finally roll out as planned, you know, and then people really going to be bugging the hell out and losing their minds because of all the shit that's happening, you know.
And that when that happens, you know, that's when people are going to start to seek answers, but it's going to be too late, you know, because they're gonna know that everything that we've been saying, you know, was true, you know. And you know, like brother was saying, that people just sign on to YouTube, and a lot of people actually make money from on YouTube, you know, from their views and whatever. I remember I was scrolling through, you know, the homepage, and one video popped up of some bugged out bitch, and the title was entitled "How to Make $20,000 a month off of views." Like bitches like that, they're gonna lose their fucking minds when YouTube gets shut down.
Yeah, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
All types of shit, man. Go ahead and get that preset down. Hey, cause it's gonna be very beautiful, man. When you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you can't find the word of yo, what's up with these people, bro? You see these fucking demons, bro. Got no patience. These people got no patience for nothing. Looking stupid as hell.
Dumbass people. There's people like that that's gonna lose their fucking minds.
Trying to cut me off because I ain't going as fast as she would like me to go.
To the red light.
Yeah, to the red light. All right.
This is Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh Shemel Shai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh.
Okay. And that's what's coming, man. All right, just last night, that was a quick snippet. All right. Fucking idiots. A quick snippet of what's to come, man. All right, the famine of the word. All right, not of bread, which that is going to come, but not of bread. This one's not going to be of bread, man. This one's going to be of hearing the words. Because you got a lot of people that, yeah, they talk a lot of smack about us, but they watch our videos. Or they come by the camp and they listen. But they talk shit, you know? And in that day, they ain't going to hear the word of the Lord no more, man. You know, and there's a lot of sincere brothers and some sisters out there that listen as well, that sincerely listen, man, that are slacking and bullshitting with this thing. Like, all they got to do is hear the word, man. Oh, I just, let me go ahead and click and get my daily food. Hey, you got to be not only hearers of the word, but doers of the word, man. All right, you got to be doing your due diligence. You got to be doing what you're supposed to be doing according to the scriptures, man. Whether you're a man or a woman, all right? Because the women have certain things they have to be doing, as calling yourselves a woman of the Lord, all right? But there's gonna come a time where people like that aren't gonna find the videos no more on YouTube, all right? And we ain't gonna be going out there anymore after that, man. There's gonna come a point where we're not even gonna be going out on the highways and byways. So then what are you gonna do? You can't find us on the internet. You can't find us out on the streets. What are you gonna do, man? Keep reading.
And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it.
Okay, man. And that's these people are gonna be like chickens running with their head cut off, man. Trying to find us, man. Going here, going there.
Trying to remember all the spots they remember seeing us at.
Okay.
Oh, let me see if they're not in downtown today. Let me see if they're in Clearwater.
Okay.
Let me see if they're over here. Let me see if they're over there. And they're not gonna be able to find us, man. It's gonna be too late. And if you do happen to run across us, we ain't gonna be in the same spirit anymore, man. They're trying to teach you, or trying to wake you up. You either get it or you don't. Hey, because the hunting season is around the corner. As soon as this family of the word comes, like brother was saying, things are gonna escalate after that, man. So things are gonna get a lot nitty gritty, all right? Because when they do that, it's gonna be for a reason. Who knows? It could be because of a terrorist attack, or Esau say that terrorism is being pushed through social media sites, which they have been saying that for years. Oh, look, ISIS is getting people through Facebook. What kind of stupid shit is that, man? ISIS is getting people to sign up through Facebook. That's all bullshit that they've been pushing, so they ultimately feel they can get the men of the Lord off the internet.
And that's what's gonna happen, man. They're gonna get that cut off, man, and a lot of you people are gonna get caught out there, man. Get caught out there in the open waters, man. No cloak, because you weren't really studying. You weren't really familiarizing yourself with the scriptures, man. So you're not gonna have no stability in those times, man. Because these scriptures, man, when you apply them, all right, and that day of Jacob's trouble comes, all right, you're gonna know what to do. All right, you're gonna be comforted. All right, but you people out there that get caught out there, because hey, just like last night, man, that happened with no warning, man. Like the brother from North Carolina said, man, it's a snap of a finger. All right, the YouTube got shut down at a snap of a finger, man. And then what? What are you gonna people? What? It's gonna come like that, man. The internet's gonna get shut down. All right, all avenues of hearing this word, all right, are gonna get shut down just like that, man. And you gotta know through the Spirit what to do. All right, you gotta know what the hell is going on, man, and what to do next. You can't just sit there questioning and asking other people or yourself, what am I gonna do now? You gotta know what to do.
That's why Isaiah 33:6 says, "Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times, man." Because now is the time you got to get the knowledge and wisdom. You ain't gonna be able to get it coming soon, man. That's why it's gonna be a famine of the word. And where do you get knowledge and wisdom from? From the words of the Most High. All right, this is Amos 8:13. "In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst." And it's talking about the waters of the living waters, man. Not talking about literal, like the scripture says, not a famine of water and bread, but of the words of the Lord. And the words of the Lord are considered living waters. That's what's going to be a thirst. All right. This is 2 Ezra chapter 5 verse 9. "And salt water shall be found and sweet." So in that time, you're gonna have salt. Salt water is found in sweet, meaning you're gonna go looking for answers, and people are gonna straight up lie to you, man. You're gonna go to these false prophets. They're gonna tell you some bullshit, telling you that it's gonna be all right. Go take the chip, you know. And you know, Esau with his Blue Beam project, they're gonna make it seem like the Messiah just returned. You know, you have the Cesare Borgia hanging in the sky. You know, so it's gonna be a lot of leaven out there, man. A lot of salt water, because what we just said, that the people are gonna faint from thirst. What they gonna get? If you give somebody that's dying of dehydration, you give them salt water, what good is that? It's just gonna make it even worse.
Yeah, hey, there's gonna be groups like IUIC, man, trying to call you people in, man. Yeah. You know, they're gonna have their churches
come to the shelter.
Yeah, come over here. You know, we got food and water, and you know, we can give you the word as well, man. All right. But when you watch these movies, all right, like the first Purge, all right, them places that you think they are your sanctuaries, man, that's just a gathering for slaughterhouse, man. That's what it is, a slaughterhouse. Because when Esau rolls up in there, he's gonna have a very good time and easy pickings, man. He's gonna go in there and just start picking heads off, man. And the ones that he deems worthy to keep, which is gonna be mainly you women, all right, and you children, all right, y'all are gonna get taken up and rounded up and taken to concentration camps, all because you wanted to go and get that salt water, man. You know, but the real waters, the sweet ones, you weren't trying to get. It ain't gonna be found, man.
In verse 9 again, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chambers. All right, so that knowledge and wisdom, all right, the understanding is gonna withdraw itself, man. It's gonna hide itself from you people, man. That's why knowledge and wisdom is gonna be civilian at times. And if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. It's because it's gonna be impossible to find in that day, unless the Lord really have mercy on you and he's dealing with you, and he, you know, is set up to be like that. But it ain't gonna happen to everybody, man. All the scoffing and the scorning, all you scorners, you know, hey, the Lord's gonna destroy you, man. And you're gonna know that there was a prophet among you. All right, verse 10, and shall be sought of many and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon earth.
Okay. Yep. That's what's gonna happen, man. And you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that are bullshit, man, Most High's gonna put you to death, man. Alright, that famine of the word comes. Don't come looking for us in that day, man. Alright, because the scriptures say, seek ye the Lord while he may be found, man. Alright?
This is Isaiah 55:6. Seek ye Yahweh the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near.
God, man. Implying that there's going to be a time, which is the famine of the word, that he is not going to be found. Alright? That this word, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is not going to be found. And you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, the majority of you imbeciles out there despise the words of the Lord, man. But in that day, you're going to remember, all right, because Ezekiel 33:33 says that, and in that day, when these things come to pass, and lo, they will come, then they shall know that a prophet was among them, man. And in that day, when the internet gets shut down, all right, when martial law gets declared, you people are going to realize, like, damn, I remember those guys that were reading the Bibles with them sheets. They were talking about this shit, you know. Let me go see if I can find where they're at. And you ain't going to be able to find us. It's going to be a little too goddamn late for you, man.
And if phones, you know, when YouTube go down, phones might still work. You know, you might be able to still call people. But hey, don't be calling us in that day. All right, when they all shit hits the fan and they shut the internet down or YouTube down, don't be calling us, man. Cause all you're gonna get is a voicemail. You're gonna get sent right to the voicemail. All right, we can close out on this one. This is Sirach chapter 5 verse 7. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance.
Come on, man. And that's what you people are gonna be in the day that the famine of the word comes, man. All right, you're gonna be destroyed. Why? Because you weren't seeking the Lord, man. You were tarrying. All right, you were tarrying. You were putting off day to day the day of the Lord.
That smoke coming through your fence.
Yeah, it gets like that. But you know, with that, you know, Lord willing, you brothers were edified through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. And those of you that are BSing with the word of the Lord, man, and BSing with his with basically you BSing with the Lord, man, you better get right, man. You better get right, and you better get it right soon, man. Because it's gonna be a time here very shortly that the Lord is not going to be found, and then you're going to be out there stuck in the open waters, man, for the devil to come in and gather you up, man, and pick you off. All right? But with that, Lord willing, you brothers are edified through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. We want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honor to the elders, apostles, great millstone. Much blessing and salutations to the Akim out there, man. Shalom.
And of course, ISIS, you know, the group that's controlled by the Syrian Democratic Forces and the pretty much Saudi Arabia and Qatar and all that, you know, the U.S.-backed terrorists. Pretty much they're now being driven out of Syria and have already made their move in Crimea. So pretty much what's going on is that soon this will be a global event because, like everything else, though, they are going to escalate this because they know that Syria is about to regain control. So the Crimea school event, that was all a retaliatory. And we're going to see a whole lot more. So for that, I want to say Barakah Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Rakadam. Until next time.
واضحين بشكل اشلاء جثث ظاهريه.
The Turkish military has sent a new convoy of troops and military equipment in order to strengthen its forces deployed in the Syrian province of Idlib. Some sources link this move with recent reports that terrorist groups like Hayat Tahrir al-Sham or Ras al-Din and other al-Qaeda-like organizations are not going to withdraw from their position in the demilitarized zone pre-agreed by Moscow and Ankara. If these terrorist groups keep their attitude and continue violations of the ceasefire regime established near the province of Idlib, this may trigger a military response from the Syrian-Iranian-Russian alliance. Ankara, which is not interested in any advances of pro-government forces in Idlib, is preparing to employ its own military option in this case. Thus, its forces will punish the militants for having a low level of loyalty to their Turkish patrons, impose at least formally the demilitarized zone, and to prevent advances by the Syrian army in Idlib. Low-intensity clashes between the US-backed Syrian Democratic Forces and ISIS are still ongoing in the Hajin pocket in the Euphrates Valley. Recently, the US-led coalition has even employed B-1B Lancer heavy bombers to target ISIS positions there. Nonetheless, the ISIS-held pocket is far from being eliminated. Ukraine has become a hub for terrorists, moving from the Middle East to the European Union and Russia. The Ministry of State Security of the Lugansk People Republic, LPR, said on October 16th. According to the ministry, LPR security forces detained a member of the criminal network, assisting terrorists from the Middle East to arrive in Ukraine and then move to the European Union or Russia. The detained criminal was identified as a Ukrainian citizen, Oleg Stepanenko, born on September 12, 1983. He reportedly participated in the transfer of terrorists and weapons through Ukraine using the contacts of the criminal network with Ukrainian security forces and intelligence. The defeat of ISIS in most of the territory of Syria and Iraq forced former members of the terrorist group to seek a safe haven in regions across the world. These flows of terrorists, whose main destinations are Afghanistan, Northern Africa and the EU, pose a sufficient security threat, setting ground for the destabilization and new major terrorist acts in these areas.
Ролик, что размещает у себя в социальных сетях президент-миротворец, вероятно, должен поднять не только боевой дух у солдат. В прошлом году из украинской армии сбежали 20 тысяч бойцов ВСУ, в этом году еще 10. Но и рейтинг самого Порошенко, который нервно колеблется, не достигает даже 7%. 3500 единиц, 2000 новое модернизированное оружие для ведения войны с собственным населением. Советские танки Т-80 теперь украинской модификации в Харькове производят в 2 смены.
Потому и Малышева, и Морозова, я уверяю, будут загружены серьезно. Ну и новая техника должна себя показать в бою.
Я считаю, что эти границы уже пройдены. К счастью, мы с нашими европейскими союзниками смогли договориться о совместных санкциях против России. В этом плане я поддерживаю вооружение украинских военных, поддерживаю размещение хорошо вооруженных батальонов НАТО в Польше и Прибалтике. Российские власти уже перешли все возможные красные линии и заслуживают адекватного ответа.
Генштаб Украины готовится воевать при американской поддержке. Есть ощущение торжества, скажет президент Порошенко, когда увидит стоящие рядом на взлетке американские и украинские самолеты. «Чистое небо 2018» – первые натовские учения на территории Украины. Геркулесы и беспилотники-потрошители зачем-то отрабатывают точечные удары.
Мы в Староконстантинове, на Западной Украине. Это исторический день, поскольку мы впервые приземлились на F-15 на Украине. И мы делаем это не в последний раз, мы это повторим.
Я думаю, что нам нужно придерживаться жесткой риторики перед лицом действий России. Как и Мадлен, мне довелось работать с Путиным. Он крепкий орешек, выходец из КГБ, и таковым он останется навсегда. Если нам придется пойти на конфликт, то я к нему готов.
Когда к конфликту готов один из главных провокаторов 21 века, и ссылается он не на пробирку, а на вымышленную агрессию Путина, конфликта уже не избежать. 48 невинных смертей в Одессе теперь ставят в пример как удачный метод борьбы с русским миром.
2 травня 2014 року, місто врятувало саме це.
Когда рассказывают, что погибли невинные люди, там никто случайно не погиб. Это не случайные люди. И если бы они победили, то нас бы там просто не было. Может быть, даже физически. Я очень часто говорила, что если бы подобное, извините за такие циничные разговоры, если бы подобное произошло бы в Донецке или Луганске, когда 100 жизней спасают миллионы, то этого не было бы и на тех территориях.
Много кошмара, ужаса. Путин крепкий орешек, выходец из КГБ. Это отдельного требует обсуждения. Но, глядя на слова представительницы Одессы, становится понятно, какой именно сценарий вы готовите Донбассу. Просто объясните такое чувство, что украинские власти надо судить. Немедленно за это все.
Я что хотел сказать, вы знаете, секунду, господин вы затянули абсолютно прав, да, в том, что действительно по Конституции Украины запрещено применять армию против народа, против населения, гражданского населения. И тем самым, именно поэтому они вот сейчас изменили формат АТО, назвав его по-другому и так далее, признав тем самым неконституционным все те действия украинской армии, которые творились до того. То есть я, конечно, могу ошибаться, но бомбили мой родной Донец самолеты какой страны? Какой армии? Или это были полицейские бомбардировщики Украины? Бомбили вооруженные силы Украины, и все это знают и знали. А теперь по поводу Казанжи. Вы знаете, для меня, что особо шокирующее в этом заявлении? В том, что я ее хорошо знаю, лично знаю, знаком, не раз с ней общались, создавали вместе издательский форум Украины. Абсолютно была вменяемая женщина, русскоязычная, русскоговорящая, русскокультурная, понимаете? Абсолютно все адекватно воспринимала. И вот теперь мы слышим от вот подобных людей подобные заявления. Она даже не думает о том, что Михаил Борисович не даст соврать, ведь она была лицом антимайдана 2004 года. Да. Она была пресс-секретарем того самого ЦИКа, который объявил Януковича победителем президента. И тогда Луценко спустя год признался, уже тогда были там намерения пострелять, как сказал Луценко, да, ну вот отложили на 10 лет. И если бы тогда они начали постреливать, как начали спустя 10 лет, то ее бы сжигали в этом доме профсоюза. Она была символом этого антимайдана, власти, ну, несостоявшейся власти Януковича и так далее. Вы понимаете? А она даже этого не понимает. Она даже не понимает, что это она могла оказаться в том доме профсоюзов, если бы все эти события начались раньше. И таких людей на Украине множество, которые вот не ставя себя на место тех людей, которые оказались в доме профсоюзов, оказались на линии фронта, заявляют такие человеконенавистнические вещи. То есть вы же слышали, дело даже, тут говорят, не спекулируйте на этой трагедии, как будто это не мы сказали, не Казанжи в Трусковце, да, но она ведь что сказала? Она не просто на этой трагедии спекулирует, она выразила сожаление, что не сожгли также людей Донецка и Луганска. И вот спрашивается нам, дончанам, вот теперь кто-то спросит нас, да, за что там воюют дончане? Да за то, чтобы не оказаться сожженными, как были сожжены одесситы. Вот эти слова только подтверждают правоту Донбасса, который отстаивает свои жизни.
Shalom, first and foremost, like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakal Kadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, who are teaching this truth with sincerity. And a shout out to Yakim, it's out there on the four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakal Kadash, Barakatham. And so, what's going on now is that, of course, you see a lot of media distraction, because we know that Syria is about to regain control over the Idlib province, that this de-escalation zone time period is just about over with, and so that's the last bit, and then they're going to reclaim Syria from these terrorist groups. So to keep everybody distracted with the so-called bullshit elections, which we know it's bullshit, because of course we seen this shit years ago, 2012 election, you know, between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, that they did the same thing. So this whole Saudi journalist being killed and shit is like the new Benghazi scam. And so, you know, that's what they're doing, is they're giving you an illusion that, oh, well, Donald J. Trump ain't really saying much about this and all that, you know. And, of course, we know what's going to happen in this so-called election, right? They're going to take back the House and the Senate. The Democrats are going to get it to give you the illusion that there's a difference between the Democrats and the Republicans when there's no opposition. They already know who's going to do that, but they want to give you the illusion of all that because I already gave you a spoiler alert. Donald J. Trump is going to be reelected. No doubt, but they're going to give you the illusion that, they got a strong case against Donald J. Trump, just kind of like that whole bullshit Ken Starr exposing Bill Clinton, and then the same thing with the Benghazi scam. But see, now they got to make it bigger, like Benghazi, so that's what they're going to do with the Saudi journalist thing, and the whole thing is, it's all to keep your eyes off of Syria and everything else that's happening. But could be used to bring down the petrodollar. I just, kind of combined a bunch of videos because, there's another channel he was talking about that, so I reshared that in a video talking about how, they'll purposely bring down the petrodollar to bring in the mark, the RFID chip, which is the big thing that they want to push, And so we come out here and we prophesy of these things to come because it's not too far now, in our time period, 1,260 days to do this, which is not literally 1,260 days, but as in a time period. There'll be a time period that we're going to come out clothed in sackcloth to prophesy of what's about to happen. This being the year of prophecy, big time, what's going to happen is, we're going to tell you of things. We've been telling you of things that are coming, that the mark is in the right hand or forehead, that's the RFID chip. And, all these other bootleg camps don't even want to touch the subject, but yet want to mock at us. You got IUIC mocking at us, But that's okay because we can tell them fucking bootleggers from the real Israelites. So I'm reading out Revelation chapter 11, starting verse 3, and I will give power unto my two witnesses, that's the northern and southern kingdom, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth, which is what we're doing, which doesn't mean literal 1,260 days, but it does, however, mean that it's going to be a good time period. These are the two olive trees and two candlesticks standing before the power of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouths and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. They have the power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters that turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. And so what's happening is that we're coming back to that power, calling upon the real names of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. We're going to receive spiritual power to be able to do these things. We will be able to move mountains. We will be able to command things. And we're in that time period now where things are starting to pick up really quickly. As we know that this valley, Yehoshaphat, which is right there, the Saudi Arabia place, and yet they're bringing up these other things because just like the Benghazi scandal, now that you have this Saudi journalist that was killed in the consulate in Turkey. And of course there's evidence and all that. Like I said, it's going to be like the new Benghazi scandal. But they're not going to do anything. They're going to act like they're going to prosecute Donald J. Trump because he lied. You'll probably see even trials during the second leg of his presidency if this thing lasts that long. And I'm going to read out of Isaiah chapter 17 because that's what's happening now. Woe to the multitude of many people which make a noise like the noise of the seas, and to the rushing of nations that make a rushing like the rushing of mighty waters. I was talking about America, Babylon the Great. The nations shall rush like the rushing of many waters, but Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall rebuke them. They shall flee far off. It shall be chased as the chaff of the mountains before the wind, and like a rolling thing before the whirlwind. That's talking about when this thermonuclear destruction comes and destroys this place. Because what's happening is that Russia, Magog, is being a shield and a buckler unto these places, and is chasing off the United States. And behold, at evening tide trouble, and before the morning he is not. This is the portion of them that spoil us, and the lot of them that rob us.
And that's all that America ever does, is it steals, kills, and destroys every civilization. But now what's happening is these other nations are taking a proverb against Esau, you know, and they're tired of the so-called white man fucking taking over. South Africa is now reclaiming their land from these goddamn fucking Edomites. I'm going to read out of Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1. The burden of Egypt, and we're in modern day Egypt now. That's better known as America, Babylon the Great. Take a good look at the back of your dollar bill. Shows a pyramid, doesn't it, with the all-seeing eye. That's America. The Lord rideth upon a swift cloud. That cloud's talking about the chariot, the flying roll. And shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And that's what you have now. You know, you got your Democrats and Republicans, you got your House, your Senate, and they all are fighting amongst each other. You know, you got turfs, you know, they're all against each other. You got Russia versus America. And they're all Edomites. They're Egyptians fighting Egyptians. And they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. You know, like you just recently had, you know, the big coup d'etat in Ukraine, which the United States tried to reclaim Ukraine, which they put in a puppet government, but then Russia says, oh, nice try. And they kept Crimea because Crimea wanted to go back to Russian Federation to begin with. So, you know, you got all these interceptions going on. And now what's happening is Libya is also wanting Russia's protection. So Russia is now sending them S-400 systems so that way they can't be attacked again. So it's happening, Egyptian against Egyptian. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols, which, you know, modern day idols are, of course, the Caesar Borgia image, the so-called Jesus. They'll be seeking to Jesus, calling on Jesus, and yet will fail. And the charmers, and them that have familiar spirits, and the wizards, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over him, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of hosts, and the waters shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. You know, we hear it all the time about, you know, the drought of California, you know, that the rivers are drying up, you know. And so we know that he is smiting this place. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the books of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither. And again, you know, that's what's happening is this system is failing. It's failing in every way possible. You know, they can't even pull off that false flag, you know, that they want to because of the fact that every time they try, man, their plans get spoiled. You know, people, the Egyptians are against the Egyptians. You got whistleblowers that are saying, hey, you know, they're about to pull off another false flag even before it happens. And so we know this whole thing with the Saudi journalist being murdered by Saudi Arabia in the Turkey consulate is just the new Benghazi scheme. And of course Donald Trump ain't going to do anything about it because he won't sever his own hand, and the Democrats will try to play their little thing. Give you the illusion that there's a difference between the Democrats and Republicans, but they all work for one person. That is the Rothschilds, the elites, the Amalekites, and fake-ass Jews. That's who's really running shit. So, of course, the bankers are always going to win, but they're going to give you the illusion that there's a difference between Democrat and Republican. No, there's not. They're the same goddamn fucking Edomites. And pretty much the system is going down, and people call bullshit when they see it. And that's what we do. We call bullshit. You know? That's all Esau knows how to do is bullshit. And his bullshit, it ain't working anymore. So for all that, I hope this has been edifying, and like everything else, come out here and proclaim this truth while you still can. Esau's going down, and this is the time to bask in our glory, because we're being restored back to who we once were, the 12 tribes of Israel. For that, I want to say, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rakakadash, Barakah. Hope this has been edifying.